Getting ready for that CFP exam, it really does feel like climbing a mountain, right? And the code of ethics and standards, sometimes that seems like the steepest part.
Yeah, it could definitely feel that way. But look, with your 2 years in the industry, you've actually, been living this stuff already day to day.
Exactly. You've got that practical grounding.
Totally.
That clip you just heard, those aren't professional CFP instructors or paid tutors. They're completely AI generated from CFP study materials, and I created them in just a few moments. If you're like most CFP candidates, you are struggling to review all the exam materials. There are times when you'll be commuting, exercising, doing chores, times when reading isn't an option. But it would be great if you could do a quick review. Rather than cough up another $800 for the upgraded test prep package, you can now use free AI tools to make the most of your time. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to turn those dense study materials into engaging audio study sessions using NotebookLM, a free tool that's going to revolutionize your exam prep. Let's get started. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is set up NotebookLM. You'll need a Google account since NotebookLM was created by Google. Once you've logged in, start a new project. I suggest having a project for each of the knowledge domains. For example, I'm going to focus on the Code of Ethics and Standards of Conduct. I'll be uploading the official Code and Standards document, the roadmap to the Code and Standards, which is also developed by the board, case studies published by the board, and a link to the board's YouTube webinar on the code. Now, as you can see, NotebookLM can handle all different sorts of formats, including PDFs, slides, audio, and video. You could also include things like your class notes or study guides, practice questions, and summary documents that you've created yourself. The beauty of NotebookLM is how it connects concepts across all of these sources. The more relevant material you provide it, the better your study podcasts will be. And at any time you want to narrow your focus, you can always deselect specific sources. This is helpful when you want your podcast to concentrate on a particular document or particular area rather than the full library. Now that we've uploaded our materials, we are ready to create our first study podcast. NotebookLM's standout feature is generating audio deep dives, essentially creating conversations between two AI hosts who discuss your materials in detail. Let me show you two quick approaches. Now, the first is to simply select your sources and hit the Create Deep Dive button. The AI automatically generates an overview based on your material. But for exam prep, I recommend using the Customize feature to create targeted study sessions. Here's my exact process. I'm going to set the length of the deep dive to detailed if I'm looking for more comprehensive reviews, or concise for a quick refresher. Now, the exact length is really going to depend on how much material you put into that project. Now, I'm going to use the prompt area to specify exactly what I need. So for this example, I'm going to write, "You are an experienced CFP exam tutor speaking to a candidate with 2 years of industry experience. Create a focused overview of the CFP Code of Ethics that emphasizes primary duties owed to clients, organized by when they apply, duties to firms and subordinates, and duties to the CFP board, particularly reporting requirements. Include 1 to 2 sentence explanations for each of the duties." Now, this specific prompt transforms general content into exam-focused material that targets exactly what you need to master. Now, unfortunately, NotebookLM only allows you to have one podcast per project at a time. However, you can save them by downloading them. So, save them to your Google Drive, upload them to a service like Spotify or YouTube. This way you can have several. So you might have an overview podcast and then a few shorter ones that dive into specific subtopics like duties to report certain information to the board. The great thing about these podcasts is they can help reinforce concepts and details you're already learning in exam prep. And as you do practice problems or mock exams and identify weak areas, you can create custom podcasts focused on just those specific topics. But even when you're just starting out and diving into a new knowledge domain, NotebookLM can help. Interactive mode allows you to interrupt and ask questions. For example, you might want to ask the host to restate something, clarify a detail, or maybe explain something through an analogy.
Umbrella, there are like three. Oh, wait, someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Is sending an email about, say, the recent Moody's downgrade considered financial advice?
That's a really interesting question. Let's unpack this.
It hinges on whether that email would reasonably be viewed as a recommendation for your client to take or not take a specific action.
Exactly. If it's just a general market update, like Moody's downgraded sector X.
This makes study sessions so much more active and personalized to your needs. Now, keep in mind that once you download a podcast, you can no longer interact with it. The interactive Q&A feature only works for podcasts that are in the NotebookLM environment. Now, before we move on to other features of NotebookLM, take a second and hit the like button. These videos are a real labor of love, and well, they're not going viral anytime soon. So if you've got a coworker or a friend who's thinking about taking the exam in the next cycle, please share this video with them. Now, NotebookLM offers other useful features beyond just audio. You can type with it and ask questions about your source material, create mind maps to visualize concepts, and generate comprehensive study guides. Google is also testing functionality to let you generate visuals to go along with the audio. That's still in beta, but it's expected to roll out soon. What differentiates NotebookLM from other AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude is that it's specifically tuned to stick very closely to your source material. Let me demonstrate this by asking a question that's not related to our uploaded documents. How is holding period return calculated? Now, this is a really simple question that an LLM should easily be able to answer. But because this is not covered in our source material, NotebookLM won't provide an answer. This prevents hallucinations, maybe you've heard about them, and it ensures that you're studying accurate information. Now, the downside, of course, of this stickleriness of NotebookLM is that it's not as creative as other AI tools. For example, if I ask it to create a mnemonic for how the various duties owed to clients, how I can remember it, it's going to struggle since that exact request isn't in the source material. And the strict adherence to source material can sometimes make NotebookLM's answers clunky. Let me show you a comparison of NotebookLM's overview response versus what Claude might provide. And this spills over to other conversations as well. Here, I've asked NotebookLM to explain why a particular answer is incorrect for a multiple choice question, and it does give you the right explanation. It's just significantly harder to understand than what Claude provides. And this is especially true when you're looking at formal documents like codes and standards. So does this mean you shouldn't use NotebookLM? No, it just means you should use the right tool for the job. I find NotebookLM is best for creating audio study content, particularly if you're an auditory learner, studying on the go, even if you aren't an auditory learner, and getting answers that strictly adhere to official documents or study materials. If you're looking for concise explanations or creative thinking, I would suggest using tools like Claude. Sometimes I will summarize and take what Claude has generated and use that and put it into NotebookLM for audio. And there you have it, a powerful, free tool to create custom study podcasts for your CFP exam preparations. NotebookLM can help you make the most of your study time by turning your study materials into audio content you can listen to anywhere. And if you're studying for the CFP exam, check out this video next. I'll see you in the next one.